Hey folks, this is Riverponics. This is part 2 of the Riverponics growing flats. This video might be a little lengthy today. I'm gonna go through the whole process of not only the growing flats, but I'll walk you through the process of how my other grow systems work. And I want to get your mind thinking and get your mind turning to where you can see the possibilities of what this grow system can actually do, whether it be a small scale or large scale. Alright, so the growing flats here lay flat on the ground, and this saves space for people with less headspace in a grow room or a tent enclosure or what have you. You want taller plants. This is a method to use to solve that issue. And you can use big grow bags and stuff like that too. What you see here, this is a 30-pound grow bag, and my grow system is not leaking. This grow bag here is actually wicking up so well that it's dripping out onto the ground. Okay, and this is a cheap grow bag. It's plastic, and you can see it's got holes in it, right? So it's wicking up so well it's just draining back out. So I am losing water with this. So I'm really curious what a large smart pot, a cloth grow bag they call them, would do in here. You know, another suggestion, instead of having it lap and lay down on the concrete, maybe put some 2-inch styrofoam underneath, you know, the circumference of it. Might make a difference as well. I don't know, but you know, all my systems are for water conservation and just the ingenuity to have a self-watering system where it takes care of itself. All right. These are tobacco plants. These were actually growing wild in my system to the left of me here. So I planted these 2 days ago. So they're a little stunted from being transplanted. So they're trying to establish themselves in the system. But now I have my grow containers on here. I have my lids in place. The lids are all removable, and so it kind of shows you how you can, you know, cut your lids at intervals to spread your containers out at whatever distance apart you need. Okay, because all this is just an example. I also did plant some lettuce seeds in here too, so should have some sprouts coming in here hopefully in a week or so. But this is mainly soilless. I did add a little soil in here just as a filler, because that's a lot of content, a lot of volume in that grow bag right there. It took a lot of material to fill that up. So how this works is I have a little float valve in here, and that float valve actually controls the water in both grow channels. Okay, because I have a pipe that's attached, 3/4 inch pipe that's attached to the 2 channels, and there's no glued fittings. Okay, so this comes apart, and there again you can spread this out the 2 grow channels at whatever distance you need for your growing purposes. Okay, so that makes it real nice, and it comes right apart as well. The float valve, those are all quick connect fittings, so those all come apart too for doing your routine maintenance and what have you, cleaning purposes and stuff. But that little 1/4 inch line runs over here to my patented brewer and attaches right to my reservoir. So this just feeds the water on demand, as through evaporation and plant take up the water and nutrients. The float valve will just, you know, turn on and off. Okay, but I am losing water, like I said, with that big grow bag, so this thing's working overtime. You know, it's a plus and minus, knowing that the fact that I can use really large grow bags or containers that will wick up without any problem. So that's a great aspect. I mean, you could grow some massive plants in containers like this, you know. But so what happens is, so I have an inline pump, recirculating pump that sits on the outside, sits right here on the concrete, and it's a pull and push. So this pipe there, that tube, is actually pulling water to the pump and then pushing it back out to there. So if I didn't have this circulating pump, this water would sit in there stagnant, which I've done that method as well, and it does work, especially as your plants get bigger and stuff. You'd be surprised how much water your plants take up, and through evaporation too. Okay, so I've done it both ways. Both ways do work, but it's always nice to have things fluent, and there's a reason why I call this Riverponics, is because I like my water to flow like a river. And with the divider down the middle of these grow channels and being opened in and on both ends, that's exactly what it does. So as this water pulls through the pump and pushes back through, you don't capture all that water all at one time. So whatever doesn't get captured just circulates through the grow channel, you know, back and forth, and ultimately will run through its cycle, and everything will get mixed and stirred and keep fluent. So that's kind of how all this works. Okay, so I just basically expanded on this grow system here by just adding this, right? And there's different ways of doing this as well. I could have that float valve right there. I could have another float valve in here as well, and just tee off that 1/4 inch tube to another float valve right there. You know, and I could do that down the line. I could have a whole row of these grow channels as far as the eye could see, actually. And I can have these grow channels made up to 60 foot long. I do offer couplings too, to if you went with the 6-footer and wanted to add another link to it. I have couplings that you can add onto these grow channels. So there's tremendous amount of flexibility with this grow system. Yeah, so just keep that thought in mind, and the possibilities this has growing on a flat surface like this. It'd be perfect for greenhouses. I mean, I could do these grow channels like this as well, being in a greenhouse on a flat surface, and actually trench in all the plumbing and have a closed loop. You know, this isn't a closed loop here, what you're looking at, but this grow system out here, this is a closed loop. And I might as well go ahead and just explain this to you right now. So this is my patented brewer. This is where I put all my nutrients. I add nutrients every 7 days to this, and everything goes right inside the patented brewer. Okay, the lid off. This whole grow system only runs on 1/2 of an amp, so it's super efficient. All you have is an air pump and a submersible pump. Okay, the submersible pump is housed in the reservoir down below and is actually attached to my wand, and it pumps the fluid into the brewer, and it just shut off because I have overflow protection right there. Okay, so that overflow protection turns on and off the pump in the reservoir, which feeds the brewer, and that within itself is a closed loop. The brewer and the reservoir is a closed loop. Okay, so once that all takes place, you're aerating your water. This is mixing and stirring your fluid at all times with the brewer. You can get real creative with your nutrients and your chemistry. That does have a filter in it. All the parts are removable. There's no glued fittings. You can get real creative with tea tinctures and all kinds of crazy stuff. All right. Me personally, I just keep it real simple. I'm using a 4-18-38 tomato fertilizer mix with Epsom salt and calcium nitrate. That's all I'm using right now. It just keeps it real simple for me, and I don't really have time to get real intricate with things right now. So you have the brewer. this plumbing in the back end had a control valve and is attached to the inner housing of the filter in the brewer. Okay, so the water gets dispensed out of this plumbing and goes out to my grow system. Okay, now I have dual tubes here just in case one gets clogged up. It's always nice to have a backup, you know. But you can see the flow rate on here. That's the flow rate you're seeing. And so what happens is this fluid goes down one side of the channel because it has that divider and goes the whole distance of the channel, and it's open-ended on the far end and makes the turn and works its way back down. And then it actually there's a pipe that attaches these two grow channels together, a 3/4 inch. So then it drains right there. Now you can see that. There's a drain. And there's plumbing that attaches that to the other grow channel. See it right there, okay? And then it does the same thing. It runs the whole distance, turns the corner, comes back around, and then drains out right there. Now you can see right there, there's a spacer in that bulkhead fitting. That spacer actually controls the level of fluid in these two grow channels. Okay, so this is at this point where your drain is where you control your water level. So it's really nice. It's just a really nice feature because you can manage the water level yourself, do different things. If you ever had a power outage, you're always going to have water in your channels. It's going to save you time to do what you have to do to hopefully get power back up and all that good stuff. I mean, you can manually put water in these channels if you had to as well. But using soil, which is one option, your soil saturation and having water in your grow channels gives you that flexibility of time that you're not going to lose your plants if something catastrophic happens. Okay, so I'm going to walk down the other end, and you can see these tomato plants, and they're just, this thing is 10 foot tall, and there's just all kinds of fruit in here, just coming in everywhere. All right. These are banana peppers, and you can see that I'm using big tubs. That's a 27 gallon. I believe this is a 17 gallon. And these tubs I'm using soil, okay? And it wicks up from the grow channels. So it's a self-watering system. So this is one method of utilizing my grow system, okay? And these two grow channels are attached, like I said, on the other end with the 3/4 inch pipe. So they work tandem together, and they ultimately drain back out to the reservoir, which I'll show you here in a second. But I just want you to get a grasp of this. And so with this system here, I got 2, 4, 5, 6 grow channels. And what's nice about this whole setup is it's completely expandable. I could keep on going right through my garage right here, you know. So I want you to keep that aspect in mind. And having things elevated like this, you don't have to worry about varmints. You can control the spacing in between your plants real easy. Everything's mobile and movable. Handicap accessible. I'm growing right on a concrete slab, you know. So this makes it really cool. My plants are absolutely loving life, doing great. I got some just awesome jalapeno plants. I mean, all my plants are just pretty impressive. I'm really excited about the results that you can do. I mean, they're just, I just picked a bunch of them off here, but man, they're all over in here, and it's hard to see because the fruit, these are habaneros. The fruit blends in so well with the canopy. Cucumber, you know, I got powdery mildew with this, from a squash plant that I eliminated just recently. It was actually right here, and I just put some kale in there. But I was treating it with hydrogen peroxide and baking soda with spring water, and I have a video on it. And I think that the ratios I was given on there is a little too potent. If you check out that video, you might want to back off on the amount of ingredients you put in there. But it absolutely does work, and it wiped out that powdery mildew, but it was wiping out leaves too. So just keep that thought in mind. But you can do side grows like this too with your containers. This is kale growing right out of the side, so you can utilize your space with your containers and do some pretty funky stuff. There again, this is a big container using soil. Now this row here, this last row, is soilless. And I used to run drippers and all that, but drippers are kind of a pain. They get clogged up, and it's just always a lot of maintenance with drippers. So I came up with the soilless mix that works absolutely wonders. Alright, so I eliminated drippers, and I'm using a soilless mix now. And I'm having excellent results. These are cow horns. Got bell peppers here, or excuse me, banana peppers coming in. Here's my bell peppers. And I got some wonderful bell peppers, and I just picked some off this plant too. And here we go again, habaneros, growing soilless. And they're all starting to come in now. This is a hybrid jalapeno. It's like a, what's it called? Zoom in on that. Jalafugo, I guess that's how you pronounce that. But that's really starting to come in. And then I have this is a problemo, and this thing is just huge. And the reason why it's like this is because it was stretching for light. This row here gets the least amount of sunlight, so it's stretching for light. But if you look up close, see if I can, it's starting to bud out all over at the top here. So I think I'm going to have some results here with this, getting some fruit actually, which is pretty cool. And that's fine. Hey, if it wants to stretch and finally sees the light, you can see that though. Yeah, starting to bud out though. Very cool. So this tubing, this 1/2-inch tubing that runs all the way down, is attached to my brewer. And then it dead ends right there, get it capped off. But it's the same concept. It's feeding these grow channels, tandem tubes going in. It runs the distance down, turns the corner and comes back, and then drains out right there. And it's got that spacer in there to control your fluid in your grow channel. Okay. Now the other cool thing I have is I don't even have to add water to this grow system. And these 6 channels here, they're 12 foot long, and with the brewer I'm running about 55 gallons of water at all times through this grow system. So that kind of gives you a perspective of what we got going on. So each grow channel contains anywhere 6 gallons of water, 6-7 gallons of water, okay, depending on how you raise and lower your water level. But this 1/4-inch tube here is hooked up to my my water, my municipal water actually, and this little tube runs all the way down. Down here is more cucumbers. This cucumber plant's about seen its day though. It's getting towards the end of the season. There's that 1/4 tube running down, and it comes over here and attaches to my reservoir. I'll pull this out. Take this off. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, my tube just came off. Never mind. 1 second, guys. There we go. Alright, so there's the float valve. And that float valve turns on and off and always keeps water in that reservoir. So I don't even have to add water to this. And then the grow system takes care of itself as well. I don't have to water my plants. Everything's automatic. The only thing I have to do is just add nutrients to this grow system. Another perspective on the tomato plants. To see these in person is just really impressive. But, you know, here's a nice aroma. I got some awesome aromas coming in, starting to ripen up. There's a whole bundle of them in here. Really nice sized aromas. Massive tomatoes. I'll actually pick one for you real quick. I think I got one that's ripening up. Yeah, here's a few of them. Look at that baby right there. There's a real nice one. There's a nice one. One right there coming in. Oh, here's another one. Look at the size of that. It's really nice. Actually pick that one. There we go. It's a nice sized tomato. Beautiful. Well, I think that about covers it. I hope I explained myself well enough to kind of get your mind turning. Sometimes my mind works faster than my words, so you have to pardon me. But please don't be bashful to contact me, and if you have additional questions, because there's things I don't cover. I can't cover everything in a video. I forget things too. So I part this all out. You know, you don't have to, when you go on my website and see, you know, what I offer. I mean, I'm just a phone call away to work deals out. You know, if you want to just buy grow channels or just the brewer or, you know, parts and pieces here, you know, I don't have a problem with that, man. So, you know, I'm here to help and educate people and hopefully get people involved with what I'm doing and implement this into their systems. You know, whether it be existing or new, and don't be afraid to try new things. I mean, this is proof in the pudding as far as, you know, how things work and grow. You know, this system works. I put a lot of time into this, perfecting it, trial and error. I don't mess around when it comes to a product. My integrity means everything. So I test and run everything, and this is a perfect example right here, having a 30-gallon grow bag. A plastic one, a cheap one, laying flat on the ground, and here you go, you're seeing it leak, you know. And I'm exposing that, I'm learning this, you know, firsthand, and you find a solution for it, you know. And the solution is use plastic containers, or maybe even a thick fabric grow bag might be better, you know. Or you might not even care about water conservation. I mean, it's limitless what you can do with this system and the options you have. But my website is riverponics.com. I'll show you my logo. Riverponics.com. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. Sorry for the lengthy duration, but sometimes you got to do that. Talk to you next time.